Well, a delegation of hope, and they gave hope for a new Cottonwood Fire and Rescue building. Now, one of the buildings destroyed by the Cottonwood tornado was the fire department. The town is looking for ways to build a new building, a tough order with limited funds. But as News 4's Ken Curtis reports, help could be on the way.
Friendly hellos quickly evaporated. Then these folks got down to serious business. What to do about Cottonwood's fire department. A tornado 1 month ago damaged it.
A tornado, I know how devastating it is.
Kenneth Boswell is Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs Director. In 2007, he was Enterprise Mayor when a tornado killed 9 there, 8 of them high school students. Just like the people helped Enterprise through tough times, he wants to help Cottonwood now.
And to see what opportunities lie within my agency to be able to fill in those gaps.
Gaps that insurance will leave create a shortage of funds to construct a new fire building and possibly an adjacent senior citizen center. Casey Morris, who oversees that center, was not surprised that Cottonwood didn't qualify for federal funding.
So at no point during this did I think that we would qualify for that because we are such a small town.
After conferring with State Senator Donnie Chastain and State Representative Paul Lee, Boswell will meet with his team to determine if the fire department and seniors building qualify for grants. Mayor James Coachman praises the resilience of people in Cottonwood and their neighbors, but he welcomes all help.
And we're still looking for more answers so we can help please the town of Cottonwood.
In Cottonwood, Ken Curtis, your hometown news leader.
Now, Boswell hopes for a quick turnaround on whether there are grants available.